1,214 villages. That is the elections taking place. We do have, of course, a massive deployment in the country, and we'll be letting you in on what's happening on the D-Day tomorrow. But first, tonight, we'll be showing you how prepared the Electoral Commission is.
And certainly every village is a polling station, so you don't have to look too far to find your polling station.
Absolutely. And then we also have a conversation later on in the bulletin on the rebranding of Pearl Bank and what is in for you as a Ugandan. What does this rebranding mean for you as a Ugandan? But what about for the bank itself? All that coming up here on NBS Live at 9. Of course, the awesome 3 is here.
And the headlines are also here.
This is a lesson for Ugandans, for our various...
Otunu's secondment to the UN top job. What does it bring to the table for Uganda? Otunu, once a critic of Museveni's government,
I address myself directly to Mr. Museveni.
How did he end up on the government list for the UN job? Excitement in UPC after their former party president is presented to the UN by the NRM. Is set for the LC1 elections.
The registers are there, so we are ready.
Voters can't stay at the polling stations until vote counting is done.
They have already counted the people, and they are counting human beings, not papers.
And within this period, please arrange to give us an elaborate account of all these.
IRS gun standoff. Who is in charge of the struggling institution? Justice for Mitiana's victim of defilement. How big should the punishment be?
This is NBS Live at 9 with Victoria Sibia, Samson Kasumba and Kanari Mugume.
I simply don't understand defilers, but we'll get to that story later. We begin right here with a very handsome man, and Uganda has entered one of the world's most closely watched diplomatic contests after formally endorsing veteran diplomat Ambassador Olaro Tunu for the position of the next United Nations Secretary General. The race, which begins in the earnest next month, could elevate Uganda's international standing and position, but analysts are saying it will also place the country's governance and global reputation under unprecedented scrutiny.
With the UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres' second 5-year term ending on 31st December, attention is steadily shifting to who will lead the United Nations into its next chapter. Uganda is among the countries that have already declared a candidate, joining a growing field that includes former heads of state, senior diplomats, and experienced UN officials from Latin America, Africa, and the Caribbean. For Kampala, the choice of Ambassador Olaro Tunu is hardly surprising. Uganda's permanent representative to the United Nations, Ambassador Yebara Donia, says the endorsement reflects confidence in Otunu's experience and signals Uganda's readiness to contribute to leadership at the highest level of global diplomacy.
The Secretary General of the UN is the face of diplomacy in the world. So when a country has their own as a Secretary General, there is many benefits in terms of reputation, in terms of diplomatic leverage, and in terms of regional influence in organizations like the African Union. Political analyst Dr. Yusuf Serunkuma says Uganda's endorsement is both symbolic and strategic, arguing that the country has presented a candidate with credentials required for one of the world's most demanding diplomatic offices.
And now that he's thrown his hat into the ring, we would love to know what is motivating him and what he thinks will be bringing to Uganda and to the job itself. I think it's a beautiful place to be, that every time they say Olaro Tunu's name, the other thing they mention is Uganda. Right, so Uganda benefits in that position.
The path to the UN's top office, however, is far from straightforward. The 15-member UN Security Council must first agree on the single candidate. Any of its 5 permanent members, including China, France, Russia, the United Kingdom, and United States, can veto a nomination. Only after that recommendation does the 193-member UN General Assembly appoint a Secretary General, usually by consensus, for a renewable 5-year term.
But he's also a chief administrator of the organization. Is the chief executive of the UN. He manages the secretariat, but also he's the mediator in international conflict and peace. So the country benefits by having a reputation. I mean, you would pay millions of dollars to have such an advert.
While both Ambassador Doni and Dr. Serunkuma believe Ambassador Tunu possesses the experience needed for the role, they differ on whether Uganda's broader international image could influence the campaign.
It's also possible that because there is a Ugandan at the top of this global human rights and many other things institution, that you fear, because the many eyes of the world are pointed at Uganda. So you are more cautious, you're more careful, you're more sensitive to your actions, to your nation.
You wouldn't invite attention if you didn't have a good reputation. You would avoid spotlight. I think that's, of course, people are entitled to their own views, but I think what most important is that Uganda also has already a reputation.
All eyes are now on the 15-member UN Security Council, where the first and most decisive stage of choosing the next Secretary General will unfold before the successful candidate is finally endorsed by the 193-member UN General Assembly.
So the question then becomes, who will be the likely candidate to replace Antonio Gutierrez? We now take a look at the candidates in the race for the UN Secretary General. We'll also get to our very own. So we'll take a big look at who they are. Michelle Bachelet, aged 74. Yes, 74, you got that right. Michelle Bachelet is a physician, a former president of Chile, serving 2 non-consecutive terms, and former UN High Commissioner for Human Rights, 2018 to 2022. She also served as the inaugural Executive Director of UN Women. She is internationally recognized for her leadership on human rights, democracy, gender equality, and social inclusion. Will it be her or will it be somebody else? Maria Fernanda Espinosa from Ecuador. She's aged 61 and she's an Ecuadorian diplomat, politician, and writer. She served as Ecuador's Minister for Foreign Affairs and became the first woman from Latin America to preside over the 73rd session of the United Nations General Assembly. Her work has focused on multilateral diplomacy, climate action, migration, and sustainable development. That is Maria. Will it be her or will it be Rafael Mariano Grossi from Argentina? Rings a bell. He is an Argentine diplomat serving as Director General of the International Atomic Energy Agency since 2019, a career diplomat specializing in nuclear non-proliferation and arms control. He has played a leading role in international efforts to monitor nuclear programs and strengthen global nuclear safety and security. Will the World Cup come into the mix for his candidature? What is Argentina trying to do here? Well, she's a diplomat and arms control expert. She served as the United Nations Special Representative for Children and Armed Conflict from 2017 to 2023 and previously held senior positions in the United Nations disarmament architecture. According to the list provided, her candidacy was later withdrawn. Well, Argentina does know a thing or two about positioning itself in big things. So ours is basically to wish our very own the very best as far as this is concerned. Now let's get further down this. Political analysts have expressed mixed views over the government's decision to endorse former presidential candidate Ambassador Olarotunu, for the position of United Nations Secretary General, while some say the move reflects growing political maturity and could boost Uganda's international standing. Others believe it may have followed behind the scenes negotiations aimed at resolving long-standing differences.
The government's endorsement of Olarotunu's bid for the position of the United Nations Secretary General has been welcomed by many. However, it has also raised questions about how Otunu, who previously contested against President Museveni and has long been at odds with the government, has now secured its backing. Political analysts say Otunu should have received government support for the position much earlier, citing his extensive experience in international affairs and within the United Nations.
I think it is maturity on part of Otunu that he knew he played his part the best he could, but now he has to use his credentials as one of the best diplomats the world has to help Uganda in other ways.
Dr. Otunu is still well within his capability, ability, and right to serve Uganda, even when he still bears the opposition sentiment. What is majorly required is cerebral in nature, and that is something that he has in plenty.
Historian Dr. John Paul Kasuja agrees that Otunu is highly qualified for the role. However, he says that based on his understanding of how government operates, such an endorsement is unlikely to have come without prior engagement, suggesting there may have been discussions, compromises, or agreements that remain unknown to the public.
That is not how President Museveni does his things. There must have been a table for two, where these people sat, discussed, that what do you want and what do we want. So what we want from you is ABCD, and what you also want, we shall also do this. So there must have been a compromise at a certain level.
DP Deputy President Fred Mukasambide says he does not believe Otunu's views about the government have changed. He argues that the Office of the United Nations Secretary General does not place its holder in competition with the Ugandan government and maintains that Otunu can still retain his opposition political identity.
I do not find any compromise. Ugandans do not distinguish between opposing a government and opposing a country. This is a sub-regional appointment. It is a sub-regional election. It has nothing to do with impartiality or partiality in as far as government and opposition are concerned in a substantive partner state to the UN. Colleagues of the opposition now would even find it even better that somebody that bears the sentiments of opposition has now taken center stage.
The analysts say the government's decision reflects growing political maturity by placing experience and competence above political affiliation. They also believe it demonstrates that political dialogue in pursuit of national interests is both possible and beneficial.
This gesture by the NRM government to look at the best experienced and also is a way of saying we are reaching out to opposition members who are credible.
It has been the subject of lobbying. I know that, for example, a lobby group headed by the former Chief Justice did their work, and the President was magnanimous enough to also now carry government and give its weight behind Dr. Otunu. For me, those are very good developments for a country. One would want to indicate that of course, this is the growth of politics in Uganda.
Just since it gives President Museveni and his government a big tick.
They further argue that if Otunu is elected, Uganda's international image could improve, particularly among those who closely follow governance and human rights issues. Otunu previously served in senior positions within the United Nations. Otunu has long aspired to become United Nations Secretary General. However, his bid required formal nomination by Uganda, something that had not been possible for years because of his strained relationship with the government.
Uganda People's Congress, UPC, has welcomed government's official decision to nominate veteran diplomat Ambassador Olarotunu for the position of UN Secretary General. The endorsement comes as the government of Uganda formally presents the former UN Under Secretary General, praising his more than 4 decades of experience in global diplomacy, peace building, and international governance.
Uganda People's Congress has welcomed the government's official decision to nominate veteran diplomat Ambassador Olaro Tunu for the position of the United Nations Secretary General. UPC President Jimmy Akena hailed the recognition, describing Otunu as exceptionally qualified to handle high-level global responsibilities.
Basing purely on the competence and past experience, I think Olaro Tunu is well equipped and well experienced to be able to handle such an important office.
However, party leadership insists that an endorsement on paper is only the first step, calling on the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to back the candidate with a targeted, aggressive international lobbying strategy.
What I really would like to know from the government is how much preparation has been done to support that candidature, because there's going to be a lot of lobbying, different continents, different interests. So we need to see how it's going to pan out. But as a party, we welcome and we're sure of the competences of the person of Olaro Tunu to be able to handle that office.
President Jimmy Akena emphasized that national interests must take precedence over political divides on the international stage, stating that UPC has always had very competent people, and as a country, we should send our absolute best to shine on the world stage rather than letting narrow political interests dictate. His mind is shared by lawyer Peter Waluwiri.
I think Uganda should be looking at sending our best people to whatever opportunity is available.
It should not be seen as a favor to UPC. It should not be seen as a compromise by UPC. It should be seen as something done on merit.
Echoing the party president's stance, a constitutional lawyer and senior UPC member Peter Waluwiri stressed that Ambassador Olaro Tunu's nomination must be viewed strictly through the lens of individual merit rather than partisan deal-making.
We should look at this nomination as a meritorious nomination. Any attempt to manipulate it for political gain would actually undermine his candidature.
With international lobbying key to securing the UN's top job, all eyes remain on the government to see how effectively it will rally foreign allies behind Otunu's back.
Interim Secretary General Richard Todwong has described the nomination of Ambassador Olaro Tunu as timely and deserving. Todwong says NRM is more inclusive in its thinking and says the nomination is based on experience and capability as he looks forward to more exposure of East Africa and Uganda to the whole world.
Its heritage, its identity.
The NRM Secretariat has welcomed the nomination of Ambassador Olaro Tunu as deserving and timely. Speaking to NBS TV, NRM Secretary General Richard Todwong said the nomination reflects on how the party works, adding that Olaro Tunu has always been on the radar of the party.
People thought maybe the NRM government has anything personal against Olaro Tunu. But this is an indicator that there is nothing personal against Ambassador Olaro Tunu, and there is all wishes that we pray he goes through this. And definitely, the National Resistance Movement Party at this stage works with everybody and recommends everybody well. So with this that has happened, we believe that it has cleared the gossips that, there could be any problem between NRM government and Ambassador Olaro Tunu.
Todwong described him as an active Ugandan in the political arena, especially on the international stage, saying that he's the best choice Uganda could push for the job at this time.
We grew up hearing about Olaro Tunu. He was too active in the 80s, all those transitions and administrations of government of the early 80s, mid-80s. So his name has always been in the political arena. And therefore, some of us speak interest to read about his character. The first time I met him was in 1998 when we went for Kachoka Medit in London. And I found him very knowledgeable, very articulate, and he was already within the international community as as somebody who is serving the international community. And therefore, we believe that is a good choice for Uganda.
Todong says that in an event that Olara Tunu makes it will be a pride, but also sell Uganda and East Africa to the world in terms of capability.
It would be like the only person from East Africa that could have ascended to that position. Now, to us, it's a pride. To us, it's a good indicator that the world is open to work with the people of quality, people with distinction, people of good character and moral standing.
And now to throw some perspective onto this story, we're now joined by UPC ideologue, that is Joseph Ocheno, to let us in on his thoughts on this particular nomination. Joseph, many thanks for joining us live from the UK. Speak to us. Are you surprised of government's nomination of Olara Tunu?
I'm possibly relieved because since you asked me that, Olara Tunu is amongst the sharpest brains in diplomatic circles globally. Olara Tunu was Uganda's ambassador to the United Nations, and in 1981-82, in fact, when he joined as ambassador to the UN, he was the youngest president of the Security Council in 1981-82, in which he did an excellent job. Olara Tunu has been a front runner, not a candidate, but a front runner twice. And unfortunately, because of the UN rules, he did not have the formal backing of government. So unfortunately, Uganda lost out. Unfortunately, Olara Tunu lost out. And unfortunately, the world of diplomacy lost out. But that sort of it is technically in the past. So I'm not quite sure it would be an issue of surprise. But also I need to say this, that the way these systems work, and I have been following what some of the commentators are saying, what would normally happen is that I don't think that the Ugandan government said that there's a position available, a vacancy available, so Mr. Olara, please go in. It works the other way around. As I understand it, and I don't have much detail, there has been global lobbying and discussions around who is going to be the next UN Secretary General. And as I understand it, and this is really credit to my brother Olara, it would appear that globally people have been asking, where is this guy? And the more they asked and the more they looked at the existing candidates, the more they were convinced that the missing link was Olara Tunu, as I understand it, hence the groundswell of opinion. So I'll not be surprised that the Ugandan government had to reconsider its position and found it imperative to let in Olara. And it's not about political point scoring. So like I think Peter Walubiri said, it's not a gift, it's not a privilege, it's a basic entitlement. All it is required is that your nation state in which you are an upright citizen gives you the backing. So on this occasion, the government has decided not to refuse the candidature of Olara Tunu, and that's what is happening. Everything else is at the moment global polity. But I think in the event that Olara Tunu succeeded as the UN Secretary General, even at 75, I think the world is going to get amongst the best top diplomats in the top job, and I really wish him well.
All right, Joseph, so I see you share the same opinion with your party leadership, UPC, in terms of the excitement for the government endorsement of Olara Tunu. But UPC is of the view that the ability to serve should take precedence over party politics in regard to this change of heart. Do you think Uganda is now on a path of nation building?
I don't think that can be determined on the basis of one appointment of Dr. Olara Tunu. And again, as I said, I don't really want to politicize this. I think considering other activities and events taking place politically in Uganda, I'm not quite sure whether you could say that we've reached a stage in which we are now so tolerant and so diverse that we consider Uganda first rather than our party political positions. I really wish and hope and pray it were the case. But in any case, actually, as I said, I think it was going to be very difficult if, as I understand it, the groundswell of opinion in support of Olara Tunu for this position came up. And in 2026, the Ugandan authorities decided to do what they did before. I think they had no option but sort of to let it, happen. But at the same time, as I said, we are Ugandans, why not? It's absolutely true that's in the strategic interest of the NRA administration to let Olaratunu, who I must say as a candidate, I noticed there's no indication that he's a former president of Uganda People's Congress, whatever that reason is. It's absolutely in the interest of the government that Olaratunu gets that position, because it's absolutely in the interest of the people of Uganda, because Olaratunu is one of the few top global role models for young Ugandans today. And I think you can imagine if we were to become the Secretary General of the UN, what role it would contribute and play. I continue to have conversations. This morning I was at a big event in Westminster, and it would be a rather good deal for the Republic of Uganda. Maybe they might have a few more investors, maybe they might have a few more tourists without necessarily us investing in drinking coffee.
I see the coffee conversation you're bringing there, but let me just bring it back home. Now that you have an opposition politician being seconded by government for a nomination in the United Nations top job, do you think that Uganda should use the same opportunity to begin that journey of dialogue between political parties, dialogue between political party heads, and a conversation on nation building? Do you think this is the chance now?
I think it's not the chance. It's long overdue. I've argued about this. When Milton Obote asked me to return home 20 years ago, it was part of my mission, and I did it from a press conference perspective. So it's 20 years late, 20 years too late. But if it is the beginning, let it be. That said, actually, also, you're right about that, and why it's important, that it's going to be very difficult, and I hope Mr. Museveni is listening tonight, that we let in Olaratunu and we back him as a candidate. And we say we're a country of diplomacy, a country of democracy, a country of decency. We can't do that with Olaratunu when some of the leaders of opposition are possibly in hiding or in detention or in exile. It's absolute common sense a point to make. We can't say that our global top diplomat is Olaratunu, who is basically, if you like, the president of global diplomacy. But we are not able to sit down as individual citizens to have a political dialogue and conversations and agree to disagree politically. It's UPC's position on national truth and reconciliation, which has been on the table for the last 25 years. We will be looking forward to that. But when it comes to this debate, it should be a debate of equals rather than blackmail. It should be a conversation amongst the citizens who are looking at the interests of the nation today and building the future for our children and children's children, rather than pushing political point scoring. I think when it comes to political point scoring, UPC, we don't do that. We do the issues, and I think we do Uganda first, nothing else.
Many thanks, Joseph Ocheno, for speaking to us live from London right there. Now let's take a look at you who is watching this bulletin, your feedback on our opinion question.
Feedback brought to you by... In business, you need advice, solutions, and sector expertise when it matters.
Your new office space looks great. What's next?
We get it. Absa Business Banking.
Taking a look at your feedback tonight, how best can Uganda push to win the position of United Nations Secretary General? Hashtag NBS Live at 9. Let's take a look at the first feedback response right there. And of course, that's coming in from X, where you've been powering us with a lot of feedback. Derek A. Mtarimo says, increase Uganda's contributions to UN peacekeeping and international initiatives, demonstrating commitment to the UN's goals, promote good governance, human rights, and the rule of law at home, as a country's international reputation can influence support for its candidate. Is that time to do that? Cosmas Amtaide says, to secure the position of UN Secretary General, Uganda must navigate a highly competitive veto-dominated selection process by executing an aggressive multi-front diplomatic strategy immediately by capitalizing on Otunu's UN institutional merit and unifying the African bloc. Chionga Peter says Uganda should build broad diplomatic consensus, highlighting Olara Otunu's distinguished UN leadership, deep multilateral expertise, peace-building record, and commitment to inclusive, rules-based global governance.
More to come. Brought to you by
Global Paint. How? For the seating. For us, we use Global Mat.
Global Paint, a reliable product.
The D-Day is tomorrow, where more than 71,000 villages will be ready for LC1 elections, and the Electoral Commission Chairperson, Justice Simon Weakama, says the Commission is ready. Don't forget, the election tomorrow ends at midday. You show up at 7 a.m., 10 a.m., verification is done, 11 a.m. they line up, midday they are done counting. What an election. Be there to witness that. After 7 years and 6 postponements, LC1 elections be up tomorrow, but we'll return with those details after this break.
Before the medal, before the success, there are mornings no one sees. Days you carry alone. Days the doors won't stay open. Days you need more than you have. Fighting for something bigger than yourself. In those moments, it is the people that show up for us. A hand, a loan, a door that stays open. A silent push to get you moving again. The ones you don't see fighting for you while you're fighting for yourself. That's what it means to have someone on your side. I&M Bank, on your side.
Hello, Mr. Mkasa. Hello, how are you? I'm okay, sir. Are you the broker? The original one. I was told you have very good rentals. That is right. How many bedrooms do you want? I want 3 bedrooms. Okay, did I tell you of the price? Yes, of course. 500,000. No. This side, the salary went a bit high. Why? Because the paint we use is of good quality. So the place gained the value. Which paint? Global Paint. How? For the ceiling, for us we use Global Mat. And for the inside walls, we use Global Silk Vinyl. Okay, tell me about the outside walls. Outside we use Global Weather Coat Emulsion so that the walls don't peel. I'm really impressed. The precision you put while painting, I'm willing to pay any amount. That is true, because here for us quality is paramount and the place becomes umite.
Global Paint. A reliable product.
Why pay for someone else's repairs? Say goodbye to hidden costs and hello to peace of mind of a brand new start. Discover the Suzuki range of unmatched, fuel-efficient and reliable options. From the iconic Jimny to the new Across Hybrid. Find the perfect blend of style and world-class efficiency. Upgrade today and enjoy 1 year of free fuel and comprehensive insurance, plus 2 years of free service and a 3-year warranty. Trade in your current car or choose financing to start driving as you pay installments. Don't wait. Visit the Suzuki showroom today or call 0800-211-033 to get started.
The problem is the foundation.
Do you know the kind of cement I'm using in this foundation? I guarantee you even my grandchildren will come and find this house.
You buy your buy today and get the job done. Strong, reliable, available at hardware shops countrywide.
Uganda is moving forward.
And at the heart of that movement is the most extensive fiber network in East Africa, with more than 15,000 kilometers of fiber and over 5,000 telecom mast sites. Soliton Telmec is the backbone that enables Uganda's telecom and digital infrastructure, connecting government services, businesses, homes, universities, hospitals, banks, villages, and telecom masts. We don't just build networks, we maintain and commercialize critical infrastructure that supports national development. East Africa's leading fiber company, connecting Uganda with the most capacity. Soliton Telmec, building networks for life.
The same great cube that makes your beans tasty, now in a new pack. Get the Royco Cube Co-String at a Duka or supermarket near you. Just pull, tear and crumble for the tastiest beans.
Royco Cube Co-String.
Welcome back. Well, let's give you that update you've been looking forward to. The Electoral Commission chairperson, Justice Simon Byabakama, has assured Ugandans in all the 71,214 villages that are ready to vote for LC1 leaders that security, voter registers and Electoral Commission staff will be ready to guide them during the voting exercise. The chairperson has urged elderly people, expecting women and persons differently abled to only approach the voting area at the time of lining up to avoid standing for long, since there is no special treatment for them. Voting will start by verification of voters' registers at 8 a.m. to 10 a.m., then followed by lining up to vote at 11 a.m.
Over 71,000 villages are set to elect their local council one chairpersons and village executive committees on Tuesday. Electoral Commission chairperson Justice Simon Byabakama confirmed that all election materials have been dispatched to the villages and that both the voters' registers and election officials are ready for the exercise.
The registers are there. That's the critical record at that polling station. The registers in which the residents had themselves registered, and those are the people who are going to vote tomorrow. So we are ready.
Byabakama, however, reiterated his call for reforms to the electoral legal framework so that the Commission can organize voting for prisoners in compliance with the court ruling. He explained that the Commission cannot implement the decision without clear legal provisions on how prisoner voting should be conducted, especially given the laws governing prisons.
So you need an amendment in the law to define how prisoners can exercise their right to vote as decreed by the High Court of Uganda. For us as the Electoral Commission, we are prepared.
The Electoral Commission chairperson also said there won't be special arrangements for elderly voters, persons with disabilities and pregnant women. He said that unlike presidential elections, those conducting tomorrow's village elections have been encouraged to remain, saying the difference is in the nature of the two electoral processes.
But I'm not saying keep around kukakuma. No, there's no kukuma here. They have already counted the people. And they are counting human beings, not papers. Keep around for purposes of the chairperson selecting one of you or 6 of you to fill up the other positions that are allowed in law.
He also attributed the violence witnessed during the recent Women Council's elections to some candidates who allegedly mobilized supporters to disrupt the process. He warned anyone planning to cause chaos during tomorrow's elections that the Commission will not tolerate any acts of violence.
Even if the village where you are was named after your grandfather or your great-grandfather, please you will not be allowed to vote because you are not on the register.
On polling day, verification of voters on the register will begin at 8 a.m. and end at 10 a.m., after which voting by lining up behind candidates will commence at 11 a.m. in all 71,214 villages across Uganda.
Well, from a securities point of view, police have urged members of the public to remain lawful, respectful and orderly throughout the local council elections, warning that any form of misconduct will not be tolerated. Police spokesperson Rusoke Chituma says acts such as intimidating voters, threatening opponents, tampering with the electoral process or disrupting voting and vote counting after realizing another candidate is leading are illegal and will attract serious consequences. The force emphasized that anyone who breaks the law during the electoral process will be dealt with in accordance with the law.
We know, of course, these are the common acts. One, intimidation. You will find the incidents where people are intimidating others. And you know, remember, this is an election where voters line behind the candidates. Then there are threats, because these people live within the same communities. Tampering with the processes, obstruction. We anticipate, there are incidents which sometimes arise in these kind of elections where when the campaign team of one of the candidates realizes that their line has no clients or has no persons, they disrupt this one who is about to win or winning victory. There are a number of things. Others just disrupt the process because they realize that they are losing. Now, all those we are warning, we shall deal with you. We want to come to you in time and warn you that for every action that is illegal, there will be a reaction from us.
Well, the ruling National Resistance Movement has something to say on it, and they say it has tightened its grip on grassroots leadership after winning majority positions in the recently concluded Women Council Committee elections. The party is now shifting its attention to Tuesday's LC1 chairperson elections, urging supporters across the country to turn up and vote for its flag bearers. The NRM Electoral Commission chairperson Dr. Tanga Odoi says preliminary results from the Women Council Committee elections held across 71,240 villages show that the ruling party won 326,248 positions. Independent candidates secured 20,000. 819 positions, while opposition political parties won 8,748. Party officials say they have fielded candidates in all villages and are calling on supporters to take advantage of the public holiday to cast their vote.
The NRM Electoral Commission is happy and excited to report to the country that the NRM performed exceedingly well in the elections as shown in the preliminary statistics below. NRM political party positions won in Women Council elections 326,248, representing 91.6%. The independents, some of them NRM leanings, 20,819, representing 5.8%. The other political parties, 8,748, representing 2.5%. All NRM people should go and vote for LOC1 tomorrow. Don't say NRM has already won women elections with 91.6%. Why do we waste time? This is a different election and a very significant election, very important election for our base.
Now let's go to the August House, where there was drama as the Insurance Regulatory Authority officials were expelled from the Parliamentary Committee on Commissioned Statutory Authorities and State Enterprises over confusion on who serves as the accounting officer. In response, the committee has summoned the Permanent Secretary to the Treasury, Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Finance and Secretary to the Treasury, Dr. Ramadan Gobi, and the former Insurance Regulatory Authority CEO, Ibrahim Lubega Kadunabi, and the board and the current management to account for the governance standoff at the IRA.
The Parliamentary Committee on Commissioned Statutory Authorities and State Enterprises met officials from the Insurance Regulatory Authority, led by Acting Chief Executive Officer Dr. Protasio Sande.
We need your instrument, the instrument appointing you as the Acting Chief Executive Officer.
The IRA team appeared to account for resources received in the financial year 2024-2025.
Appointed by who?
By the Permanent Secretary, who was then acting as the Minister of Finance, Planning and Economic Development.
But before scrutiny of the finances could begin, committee members questioned the legality of the very officials before them. The chairperson of the Parliamentary Committee on Commissioned Statutory Authorities and State Enterprises, Mwada Nkunyinji, told the committee that Dr. Sande was appointed by the Permanent Secretary and Secretary to the Treasury, Ramadan Gobi, instead of the Minister of Finance as required by the IRA Act.
Chair, the letter is signed by the Permanent Secretary and Secretary of the Authority.
And within the letter, where was she deriving the power, or him deriving the power to appoint you?
The committee further observed that while Dr. Sande presented instruments appointing him as acting CEO, there was no documentation showing that he has been designated accounting officer of the entity.
Are you the accounting officer? But it's the question I was reflecting on.
And so we are asking, do you have appointment as the accounting officer of the Insurance Regulatory Authority?
No, sir.
Chair, we are dealing with
let's ask.
And is not the accounting officer? So, Chair, when it comes to doing the roles of the accounting officer within an era, who does it?
We send these people back to organize themselves better, and we have another engagement.
The former CEO did not hand over.
Adding to the confusion, the committee was shocked to learn that former CEO Ibrahim Lubega Kadunabi had not handed over office despite a directive from the IRA board. Committee members say the impasse is affecting service delivery.
Did the former accounting officer or chief executive hand over any property?
The answer is no. The chair of the board wrote to him to hand over with a schedule of what he was to hand over. But I can confirm that he has not handed over. I last saw him on the 2nd of June, 2026.
Where?
At office. That's the last time he came to office. 2nd of June.
You assumed the office on 1st June?
Yes. So of the office, I mean he came to the IRA building and entered his office.
He entered his office?
That is the last day.
May we be in a situation where we have two CEOs for the same authority?
The committee resolved to summon the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Finance, former CEO Haj Lubega Kadunabi, and members of the current board to address the governance impasse at the Insurance Regulatory Authority.
Is the PSST. Let us summon him. He comes here and he fixes his appointment here, then we proceed. But it would be wrong for us to proceed with an entity when we do not have an accounting officer.
We need to invite the PSST, that was the appointing authority.
Uganda's Insurance Regulatory Authority has in recent months been facing a leadership and governance crisis sparked by the disputed exit of long-serving CEO Ibrahim Kadunabi Lubega following an adverse Auditor General's report and a subsequent court freeze on recruitment.
So who exactly is in charge at the Insurance Regulatory Authority? Well, maybe that matter will be resolved soon. Now, opposition leaders under the Joint Democratic Platform have petitioned the Uganda Human Rights Commission over what they term as escalating human rights violations in the country. The opposition leaders cited political prisoners, detained children, and the case of Mohamed Mwanga Chivumbi, who has been missing for at least 17 days since his arrest. However, the Uganda Human Rights Commission chairperson Mariam Wangadia said the commission will study the petition and convene another meeting to address these concerns.
President Jimmy Akena will also add on to that preamble.
Led by People's Front for Freedom, Deputy President for Buganda Region, Dr. Lulume Baiga, leaders from NUP, FDC, UPC, JEMA, and other opposition parties presented a paper of engagement to the Uganda Human Rights Commission chairperson, Mariam Wangadia. They want the Commission to invoke Article 53 of the Constitution to investigate and hold the state accountable for violations, including political arrests, alleged abductions, and detention of children.
Militarization of civilian administration, which includes the deployment of armed forces, personnel into ordinary civil and policing functions.
Operatives in plain clothes or military attire, driving unmarked minibuses, popularly known as drones, have seized opposition supporters, campaign organizers, polling agents, and civic activists from streets and homes.
The NUP Vice President for Western Uganda, Jolie Jacqueline, specifically cited the case of former MP Mohamed Mwanga Chivumbi, who they say has been missing for 17 days since his arrest.
Where is Mwanga Chivumbi? Is he alive? Is he dead? Is he detained? Is he in the basement? Where is he?
Other leaders, including UPC's Jimmy Akena, FDC's Ibrahim Kasozi, and JEMA's Asman Basalira, raised similar concerns about torture and illegal detention, commonly referred to as being held in the basement.
As we speak now, police has no legal basis whatsoever to stop a public meeting on account of permission.
We rightly condemn unlawful detention, torture, and suppression of political freedoms. We must recognize that the silent denial of opportunity suffered by millions of Ugandan children.
Transport to ungazetted safe houses, popularly known as basements.
The human rights violation has not started today.
In response, the Uganda Human Rights Commission chairperson, Mariam Wangadia, said the commission will review the petition and respond. She confirmed that an application for a right or habeas corpus has been filed in the case of Honorable Mwanga Chivumbi.
I learned that I think his family filed that application in court. We call it habeas corpus. Yes. And I think that took us out of jurisdiction. But again, that does not prevent us from engaging. I'm interested in knowing the location of the basement. I don't know whether it's one or several.
The opposition says many Ugandans remain injured and traumatized as government has failed to bring the culprits to account.
With Kanzali plus Machuzi, you get the perfect pot of flavor and taste with the superior ingredients of the new Royco 2-in-1 mix. Enjoy the Kathufu mix.
Every business begins with belief. The belief that tomorrow can be bigger than today. But waiting to be paid should never hold ambition back. With NCBA Working Capital Solutions, unpaid invoices become opportunity. Because some ambitions build more than businesses, they build futures. At NCBA, we bank on belief, empowering ambition with tailored financial solutions built around your business. Whatever your next move, we are here to help you grow. Access unsecured loans of up to 500 million Uganda shillings plus 6 months of free banking. Ko NCBA Bank, Chigwa Kuwerere. Visit any NCBA Bank branch today and unlock the momentum your business deserves.
NCBA Bank. Go for it.
Nine? Yeah, nyabo. You wanna make tasty food that says you want to that doesn't steal. Candaling on no ya night. Sika de buto one night. Nailo akro ya sika. Sika de buto one night. Candaling on no ya night.
Cook better, sell better with modern healthy cholesterol-free cooking oil and modern non-sticky wheat flour. Modern Yenyabo.
Ready to invest at the Kabaliga Petro Best Industrial Park? Booking your site visit is simple. Step 1. Visit kip.unok.com and click Create Account. Enter your company details and your authorized representative's information, then submit. Your login credentials will be sent to your email. Step 2. Return to the portal and sign in. Step 3. Click Book Site Visit. Select your zone, describe your business and land requirements, then submit your request. You will receive a confirmation with your schedule shared by 29th July 2026. Don't get stuck. Our team is with you every step of the way. Book by 30th July 2026. Site visits commence by 11th to 25th of August. For support, contact support.kip@unok.com today. Invest in KIP. Invest in Uganda. Kabaliga Petro Best Industrial Park, a project by the Ugandan National Oil Company, UNOC.
You need a bigger space to grow your business. You need to be ready for any season.
You need faster checkouts for these busy days.
In business, you need advice, solutions, and sector expertise when it matters.
Your new office space looks great. What's next?
We get it. Absa Business Banking.
Spice up your breakfast with Prestige Margarine, easy to spread and fortified with vitamins A, D and E in the original and vanilla flavor, turning everyday moments into quiet indulgence. And now, a delightful new experience unfolds. Introducing Prestige Fruity, a luscious fusion of creamy spread and strawberry flavor, bringing everything you love into one simple, delicious layer. No extra spreads, just pure fruity satisfaction in every bite. Prestige Margarine, sprayed it, taste it, love it. Available in all shops and supermarkets nationwide. Distributed by Chapa General Enterprises, located at shop number 3, Rafik Building, Chikuwo, Kampala.
How do you make a party? You take time to prepare, to bring all the pieces together, to craft it right. The result, great refreshment. And that makes it time well spent. Club, brewed longer for longer refreshment.
Welcome back. As Uganda's homegrown bank, PAL Bank, is deepening its role in the country's development by taking banking, affordable credit and digital financial services closer to Ugandans. The 100% government-owned commercial bank is supporting households, farmers, women entrepreneurs, schools and businesses while ensuring that the value it creates remains anchored in Uganda.
PAL Bank is making 1 year under its new identity, a milestone that reflects more than just a change of name. It represents the continued transformation of a Ugandan bank focused on widening financial inclusion, supporting enterprises, and contributing to national development. With the presence extending beyond traditional branches, the bank is bringing services closer to communities through 59 branches, 60 ATMs, 14 mobile vans, more than 11,500 agents and digital channels such as Wendy, Credit remains an important part of this mission. Pearl Bank provides accessible financing at competitive interest rates, including facilities at 13%, enabling entrepreneurs, traders, farmers, schools and families to invest in their priorities and build sustainable livelihoods. From small and medium enterprises to established companies, the bank's financing has supported businesses to expand operations, purchase equipment, increase stock, strengthen value chains, and create employment.
I feel Pearl Bank has supported us in the aspect of being competitive. There's the affordability in there. You can get facilities as affordable as 13%, which you won't get with other providers. I think they'll be in excess of 16-17%. So that affordability then means that your bottom line is more profitable.
In education, schools have access financing to improve infrastructure, acquire learning materials, and enhance service delivery. Parents and guardians can also use Pearl Bank's educational loans, school pay, and when to meet school-related payments and help learners remain in class without interruption.
Started working with the bank 3 years after. My first bank was Post Bank, the Bugorobi branch. I'm a pioneer bank of Bugorobi branch. And they gave me the first facility, was of 70 million. And that time it was very big because it took me 3 years to service the 70 million. From there, then they started facilitating. Then they have now been giving me Pearl Bank.
Working with Government of Uganda, Pearl Bank is also expanding opportunities for women through the Generating Growth Opportunities and Productivity for Women Enterprises, or GROW project. The initiative extends financial services and affordable credit to women-led enterprises that have traditionally faced barriers to finance.
It works through various implementing partners, and we are glad as the GROW project to be associated with the Pearl Bank. Pearl Bank is one of the few financial institutions we have, and I can say we are so proud with the success that they have been able to achieve on the project and their contribution to the success of the GROW project. The Pearl Bank has been able, in the shortest time possible, to reach to a number of women across the country. The women that have been served by the Pearl Bank have been able to accredit it due to their innovativeness, their flexibility, and their ICT innovations, especially through their Wendy products, that has made it possible for any woman in the country to be able to access their financial services.
Through the program, women-owned businesses are accessing capital to invest, expand, create jobs, and improve household incomes. Agriculture remains another key priority. Pearl Bank is financing farmers, agribusinesses, and value chain players to purchase inputs, adopt modern technologies, increase production, and respond to market opportunities.
In the sector of agriculture, and Pearl Bank has actually been taking lead in ensuring that women in the agricultural sector are able to access affordable finances in the shortest time possible. We are so appreciative of that, and we know that if we move along working with them, we can even be able to reach many more remote places that other financial institutions are not able to reach.
Now, to throw more perspective on this story, we are now joined by Sheila Ataide, who is the Pearl Bank branch manager for Forest Mall, to discuss more on 1 year of Pearl Bank. Sheila, many thanks for joining us this evening. Looking into the rebrand from Post to Pearl Bank, what does this rebrand mean for Pearl Bank and then for Ugandans?
Well, the rebrand means it means more to us. It means more. It's more than a change of name. It's more than a visual identity. To us, it is us being transformed. It's a transformation of an indigenous bank. It's a transformation of a bank that has been 100% government-owned, 100% Ugandan bank. It's us. It's a renewed promise to our customers, telling them that, yes, we continue to offer the excellent service. We continue to come to you with state-of-the-art digital products. We continue to come to you. We continue to foster prosperity for all the Ugandans. And then we continue to stimulate entrepreneurship and also drive sustainable financial inclusion.
And that's why I want to understand, because you're talking about continuing with the drive for prosperity. How does Pearl Bank support Ugandan businesses, particularly the small businesses, the SMEs, to grow and participate in trade?
Well, SMEs are the center of Uganda's economy. And that is where we come in as PAL Bank. We are saying, what do we have to offer these SMEs? Remember, they are the ones that contribute to household income. They're the ones that run the economy. So we are saying as PAL Bank, let's offer practical solutions. Let us offer affordable financial services. Let us offer tailor-made products. And in line with the NDP 4, National Development Plan 4, where the government has put focus on sectors like agriculture, tourism, minerals, oil and gas, financial services. As PAL Bank, we are saying then how do we support agriculture sector? We are offering these affordable services. When you look at a coffee farmer, starting from zero to the end, we are saying let us get away from the farm to mouth. Let us go to farm to pocket. And that is where we come in and say agriculture, then let us mechanize. We are giving you very affordable products. We're saying let's do mechanization. And then when you talk about a tourist, what does tourism need? What does a normal Ugandan in a financial service need? We've seen SACCOs come up. We've seen SACCOs become a whole deal these days. That is under financial services when you look at the NDP. So we've said as PAL Bank, we've come up with a solution. Our Wendy SACCO management tool. We're saying let us come up. Let us give them this management tool free of charge. And then when you look at other areas, ICT, we've brought up state-of-the-art digital platforms. And by then I will talk about our Wendy platform, which has come in to support businesses digitize their modes of operation. And then still under the NDP, it's talking about ICT. How do we tap into this? So our goal here is to drive our clients to tap into what the government is actually putting focus on.
Right.
So, yeah.
You just talked about Wendy, but what about ZeroFlex? How is it making financial services more accessible and affordable?
Thank you. And then I'll actually refer back to Wendy and throw more light. Now, Wendy is a mobile banking platform. It is a wallet powered by PAL Bank. When we talk about our renewed promise to deliver accessible services, convenient and affordable services, there is no better way to do it other than providing a wallet, providing an easy way to access funds where a customer can move money. Wendy, the interesting bit is ending on that. Now, we brought in the Wendy Kumafuta. Pay your fuel with Wendy. With this whole hike in fuel prices, the last thing you want to do is to add more money to pay for fuel. We are saying pay for free. That is Wendy Kumafuta. We've not even stopped there. We've said Wendy Kuspot loan. Why reveal your brokenness to your colleagues? I mean, yet you can get your Wendy Kuspot or CDK. No one will know that you're going through something. So with Wendy innovation, with this innovation as PAL Bank, we are bringing to you more. Then the ZeroFlex account, we are saying, remember we're saying we're an indigenous bank. We're saying we're a Ugandan bank. We're saying that we understand our customers. Then why would I then charge? There's a student who has just finished school. They have not yet made money. There's a struggling, maybe Ugandan somewhere. So we're saying we've come out with a ZeroFlex account, and we're saying this is 0% charge on withdrawals, no withdrawal charging, no deposit charges, no free mobile money transfers, and that is the account that we are bringing to our customers. And then we're also saying that to access this Wendy that I just talked about, you just have to dial *229# or just download our Wendy app.
Sheila, many thanks for speaking to us tonight and sharing perspective on to PAL Bank at 1. And now moving on, a 16-year-old survivor's ordeal exposes the emotional, financial and legal challenges many families face in pursuing justice for child sexual abuse. Every year, hundreds of girls in Uganda become victims of sexual abuse, with many dropping out of school after becoming pregnant. While some families pursue justice through the courts, others abandon the process because of the financial hardships or accept out-of-court settlements offered by suspects.
On child-related offences, a total of 8,064 cases constituted child-related offences.
According to the Uganda Police Annual Crime Report 2025, police registered 7,750 defilement cases involving girls aged between 15 and 17 years. Of these, 204 cases were reported in the Wamala policing region, which covers Mityana, Kasanda, Chiboga, Chankwanzi and Mubende districts. As part of the statistics this year is Annette Naja, not her real name. Being a minor and a victim of defilement, we will protect her identity. October 2025 was a dark day in her life. She was allegedly defiled and sexually assaulted by Dixon Kalule, her immediate neighbor in Chibigiza village in Mityana district. Sadly, Annette lived with this guilt. Due to fear, she didn't report the unbecoming incident that befell her.
Nangamba naye ggwe kino kibaddewo naye kengeza ne nkiwulira mu matu g'omuntu yenna oba nembanga akiwulira ku olwo ensingo tojja gisigaza.
Months later, Annette could not hold up in school. She dropped out.
Mu kusoberwa ne mu kutya okungi n'ensalawo ngende ew'omusawo oba alina eddagala anyambe nzijjamu olubuto nga Mama tategedde nsobola okusigala nga nsoma.
Eventually the pregnancy developed, something that her mother noticed.
Bwe wayitawo weeks 2 nenziramu n'emupima ngenda okulaba ate size zeeyongeddeko. Nengamba mwana ggwe njagala saagala ate kunkubya pressure. Kiki size nga zeeyongerako buli lunaku.
This news set the family into panic, but they, however, chose not to go silent about it. Annette's father, Isaac Sechizeevo, with the mother, opted for legal redress against the perpetrator.
Any we reported, they used to force us or to tell us, may you accept to give you money for you to leave the case, so that this suspect may be released out.
According to Sechizeevo, Kalule was initially arrested and detained at Mutetema Police Station before being transferred to Mityana Central Police Station as investigations continued.
Unfortunately for them, the suspect and his ancestors, they told us, I was present, plus Mama, you have failed to take the money. Let us go to Mityana. We shall give this money to Mityana, for them they shall release this guy.
He, however, claims the suspect was at one point released under unclear circumstances, forcing him to seek intervention from district authorities before the suspect was rearrested.
Without bribe, without money, how does it come the suspect to be released out without money?
Wamala Regional Police spokesperson SSP Lameka Chigozi confirmed that the suspect was later rearrested and the case proceeded through the criminal justice system.
Initially, they went into an agreement with the parents of the suspect, and they agreed that they will help each other, they will help their grandchild, they will help treat their daughter. And at one time, the parents of the victim withdrew, and the suspect was bailed out. Unfortunately, when the suspect went back to the village, things did not happen the way the suspect, the victim's parents expected them. The suspect became hostile, and what happened was a U-turn. The victim's parents made a U-turn and came back to police.
This is a matter that raised red flags around this case. NBS Investigates at this point chose to pay keen attention to how the different authorities were handling this matter. On the 17th June 2026, Annette became a mother to a bouncing baby girl. Both of them were safe. But being a first-time mother and having gone through a C-section, it caused several challenges to her life thereafter.
She had difficulty in pushing her baby since her bones are, we call it CPD. They are contracted, so the baby couldn't pass. The only option that was there is to operate Lucia. So she was operated, a live baby girl.
But as we follow up with her progress, we learned of a scheduled court session at Mityana Chief Magistrate's Court. We attended the session together with Annette's father. Dixon Kalule, the suspect, was in the dock. He denied the charges. He, however, applied for bail, but it was not granted. In a shocking turn of events, in another subsequent hearing on July 7, 2026, the prosecution informed the court that the accused had changed his plea and pleaded guilty to the offence. Chief Magistrate Aisha Nabukera subsequently convicted Kalule and sentenced him to 8 years imprisonment.
This is the convict to custodial imprisonment of 8 years in lawful prison.
Although the conviction brought some relief, Aneti's parents had reservations about the sentence.
Nebo sinziro musango gwa mayisa n'osalira omuntu emyaka 8 ku mwana ebyamutuusibwako oyo n'atuuka n'okugenda ku biso. Kukutiisibwa kuyatiisibwa atiisa okumutuusaako obulabe bali bayogedde.
Ne bamuwa akabonerezo ak'omuntu eyabba enkoko.
Under the Penal Code Act 2007, any person who performs a sexual act with another person who is below the age of 18 years commits a felony known as defilement and is on conviction liable to life imprisonment. However, according to Mityana District Probation Officer Farida Naziwa, the numbers of the offences are much worrying.
I usually get cases like around 4 to 5 cases in a quarter, and mostly those are for juvenile cases, because I must write a report to court whenever juvenile goes to court. So with 18 and above defilement cases, especially when the men are 18 and above, court and police don't inform me.
The spokesperson of the judiciary, His Worship James Eremia, says the year 2025, the judicial system registered more than 70,000 criminal cases, of which half of these were related to child abuse, especially those in the sexual and child defilement.
And of these, we also have matters involving children in conflict with the law. Those are what we refer as to case category juvenile offences.
He says as judiciary they are working towards setting up more effective ways of seeking justice for those affected and therefore tackle the case backlog. However, he cites challenges facing the judicial system.
We have of late had challenges with personnel, both judicial officers and support staff. And where we do not have this requisite number of judicial officers, then we have a bit of delays in their disposal.
The Uganda Police Annual Crime Report 2025 shows that 10,492 child abuse-related cases were reported nationwide. Of these, 4,886 reached court, while only 713 were concluded. 27 suspects were acquitted, 355 cases were dismissed due to insufficient evidence, 1,932 remain under trial, 3,791 have not yet commenced hearing, and 3,674 are still under police investigation.
These cases are registered in our stations. They are common cases, I should say. They are common cases, but maybe I appeal to members of the public, especially men, to desist from the act of using young children. My men try to go for mature women. Leave children alone, because there are so many people who would be doing their lawful duties, who would be doing, beneficial activities to their lives, probably now and in future, but they are languishing in jail because of defilement.
The case highlights both the progress and the challenges in Uganda's fight against child sexual abuse, demonstrating that while justice can eventually be achieved, many families continue to face enormous emotional, social, and economic obstacles before their voices are heard.
We don't need anyone's permission to move forward. What we need is the power to do it our way. Spiro is not your typical EV company. It's the power grid for African ambition. A network that connects Nairobi to Kigali, Lagos to Lome, Dar to Kampala. Not with cables and wires, but with clean, quiet, relentless movement. This is Africa, powered by us.
MTN voice bundle. Load.
Hey. Hello, Mama. Hey, it is me, your son, Opio. Hey, now, Mama, listen to me. MTN has the offer. Yes, it has the offer. You load from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. Now, they have free MTN to MTN minutes. And those minutes are there all day. So you load, you'll thank me later.
Load an MTN voice bundle between 7 a.m. and 8 a.m. and get 3 free MTN to MTN minutes valid all day. Dial *100 *21# and get your free minutes bully daily. Free your fire with free minutes from MTN. Together, our connection is unstoppable. MTN.
Uganda, are you ready for the biggest honey show in Africa? This August, Tunado welcomes the world to the 4th Africa Apimondia Symposium and Exhibition featuring honey show, apiculture, learning sessions, and business networking opportunities under the theme Beekeeping for Business and Livelihoods. Come join apiculture leaders, researchers, processors, investors, and food systems practitioners from across Africa and beyond. Come and be part of this historic gathering from the 25th to the 28th of August 2026 at Hotel Africana, Kampala. The 4th Africa Apimondia Symposium and Honey Show is organized by Tunado in partnership with Come, Network, Learn, Grow.
Malayuni Pride Bank. It is so easy. You just have to maintain a minimum monthly balance of 100K and we'll give you health insurance for free. The bigger the balance, the bigger the benefits. Visit a nearby branch or call 0800 333 999 to learn more.
Pride Bank. Your growth is our pride.
Start something new, something uplifting, something so effortless and golden. A thirst-quenching burst of sweetness and malty flavor, so rich and full of memories. It's 100% taste, 0 alcohol. Try it, savor it, feel it elevate every moment. Sip after sip, gulp after gulp. After all, life's about turning ordinary thrills into golden chills.
Start something malty with the new Evervest Malt Apple and Pineapple. Try the burst of sweetness and malty flavor. It's 100% taste, 0 alcohol. Available in a shop or supermarket near you. Evervest Malt. Make every moment golden. Evervest Malt is from the makers of PepsiCo. Sometimes escape begins above the clouds, where peace waits beneath the trees. Here nature invites you to breathe, to reconnect, to feel alive again. Where warm welcomes feel as natural as the forest around you. A sanctuary designed for comfort and moments made to flow effortlessly. Forest Resort Louise, where nature welcomes you home.
Welcome back. Now, 2 days after the inaugural National Cleaning Day, heaps of garbage collected by volunteers remain abandoned along roadsides across Kampala's 5 divisions, exposing the growing waste management crisis facing the capital. As residents respond to the government's call to clean their communities, political leaders across the major cities are blaming the mounting garbage burden on shortage of trucks and equipment, which is hampering waste collection and disposal.
Days after the national cleaning exercise, waste in Kampala remains uncollected. Heaps of garbage and stench still greets visitors in Kampala, exposing the city's ongoing waste crisis. With the city generating 70 tons of waste monthly and only 40% being collected, 60 uncollected and ends up in the drainage, wetland and illegal dumping sites. Kampala division leaders say the problem is not new.
We only have 2 big trucks that have a capacity of between 16 to 18 tons. So when you speak of capacity, we do not have the capacity.
People are supposed to be taught on how to sort the garbage itself. We have the garbage for that can be so like water bottles, that plastic.
According to the national census, Kampala has a population of about 1,797,722 people. City leaders say solving the garbage crisis requires investment in waste collection equipment across all divisions.
I would prefer for every parish to have a truck.
The challenge is not unique to Kampala. Other urban centers are facing similar pressure, with cities such as Mbarara and Gulu generating between 200 and 300 metric tons of waste daily. In Gulu City, leaders say strengthening waste collection system, expanding equipment capacity and improving public participation are key to addressing the growing burden.
My thinking is if we begin to engage schools.
Back in Kampala, Lord Mayor Ronald Walimwezo says the garbage crisis should serve as a wake-up call for the government to increase funding to the cities and urban authorities.
And therefore government should know that actually we don't have capacity so that they can give Kampala at least substantial amounts of money that can be used to manage this big challenge of garbage.
The Inspector General of Government, Aisha Naruze, has raised concern over the pace of works on the Busega-Mpigi Expressway, questioning whether the progress on the ground matches the funds invested in the project. During an inspection visit, Naruze tasked officials from the Ministry of Works and Transport to account for the escalating project costs, which have risen from 547 billion shillings to over 1 trillion shillings.
The Inspector General of Government, Aisha Naluze, has conducted an inspection of the Busega-Mpigi Expressway, a major infrastructure project that has remained under construction for 6 years. During the visit, Naluze toured various sections of the project, including contractors' camps, the proposed locations for toll gates and the express routes, among others. Ministry of Works and Transport officials, however, faced difficult questions from the IGG as she sought accountability over the project's progress and expenditure.
The SGR is this one.
Nusa said that from what she observed on the ground, the pace of work does not appear to match the amount of money the ministry says has already invested in the project. She notes that construction is moving slowly and stressed the need to conduct an audit of value for money.
We need to do a value for money audit. Definitely there's not much work going on ground.
According to project officials, several changes were introduced during implementation, leading to a significant increase in the project's cost and time of delivery. Naluze said her visit was intended to verify whether the explanations being provided by the ministry are justified and whether the additional funds requested have been put to proper use or if there are indications of financial mismanagement. The Busega-Mpigi Expressway was initially estimated to cost 547 billion shillings, but the budget has since risen to more than 1 trillion shillings.
They had a lot of justifications, which I'll not go into. The engineers will go into that. So we felt it important to come on ground to really find out what was actually happening and the progress of the project.
Despite the delays, the ministry says progress has been made. Officials indicated the project is currently at 47% complete, noting that they have only received 49% of the total funding required. They also stated that the majority of the project-affected persons have already been compensated, with only a few outstanding claims yet to be settled.
So the financial progress is 49%. The physical is 47. This is against the revised scope. The progress figures are against the revised scope. And as we say, the completion date is 31st December 2028.
Residents of Kobebe in Moroto district are set to benefit from improved transport as a 40-kilometer road linking the pastoral community Kobebe to Moroto town nears completion. Leaders say the project will boost trade, improve access to social services and open up the area for development.
For decades, residents of the remote pastoral community of Kobebe have struggled with poor road access, especially during the rainy season. But that is now changing. Construction of the 40-kilometer Maram road connecting Kobebe to Moroto town is nearing completion, marking a major milestone for the community.
All along this road has been abandoned.
The road is being implemented under the government's 1 billion shillings local government funding program. District leaders say it forms part of the Kisanja No More Sleep, No More Corruption infrastructure initiative aimed at improving service delivery and accountability.
In this road, I see there is value for money.
The road project includes 9 vented culverts, 3 Irish bridges and a double box culvert bridge to improve drainage and ensure year-round accessibility.
We have one bridge that is 1 2-cell box culvert and 3 drifts. Most people call it Irish bridges. There are 3 reinforced. And then we also have 9 vented culverts.
The infrastructure is expected to ease movement of people, livestock and agricultural produce while reducing travel time between Kobebe and Moroto town.
Even going now last time to Kobebe, we have been paying here 25,000. But now, the way the road is now okay, we have started paying 15,000.
As the project nears completion, residents are optimistic that improved road infrastructure will transform transport, trade and service delivery for the people of Kobebe.
Residents of Tororo and the wider Bukedi sub-region are set to benefit from easier access to government services following the construction of the Service Uganda Center in Tororo. The one-stop digital service hub being established through the partnership between the Ministry of Public Service and NITAU is expected to eliminate the need for costly travel to Jinja, Mbale and Kampala, bringing key government services under one roof.
The Ministry of Public Service, in partnership with the National Information Technology Authority Uganda, has commenced the construction of a Service Uganda Center in Tororo district. The facility being constructed at the former Posta Uganda premises is currently about 20% complete. Once operational, the center is expected to transform access to public services by bringing multiple government agencies under one roof, sparing residents of Bukedi the time and cost of traveling to distant towns to access essential services.
For example, immigration, IT services, pensions, salaries, information on agriculture, on immunization, on land acquisition or land registration, name it.
The Tororo facility is among the latest Service Uganda centers being established under a nationwide digital government program spearheaded by NITAU to improve service delivery and enhance access to public services.
NITA Uganda has worked with Posta Uganda to revamp the post offices, then set up digital devices, or we can call them as screens, digital screens, that will now display all the government services that are available within the government agencies.
The transformation of the former Posta Uganda premises had sparked speculation that Posta employees would lose their jobs. However, the Ministry of Public Service has dismissed the claims, assuring workers that they will retain their positions even after the project is completed.
At the end of the construction of the Posta Uganda and its remodeling into a service center, the original workers of Posta Uganda are still going to be doing their work behind the scenes, managing the postal boxes and enabling people to post.
Two students from Iganga Girls Secondary School have developed an affordable cooling technology aimed at tackling Uganda's persistent post-harvest losses. The two have earned their school a place among the 12 national finalists in the 2026 Stanbic National Schools Championships. The innovation, dubbed the Eager Bank Cooler, and is designed to preserve fresh vegetables without electricity by using water, charcoal and cotton wool to create long-lasting cooling effect.
We are currently in the Eastern region as part of the appraisals for the Stanbic National Schools Championship. This is the 11th season of a program aimed at a mindset shift among young Ugandans aged between 13 to 18. At this stage, there are 12 schools out of 200 that made it to a boot camp in May this year. We started with more than 900 schools, and by the time we end this process, there will be 8 schools progressing to the grand finale, which will happen on 28th August. While we're here, what we have found has impressed us. Bertha and Patricia, who are the learners from Iganga Secondary School, plus their teacher Maureen, have innovated a system that keeps vegetables cool throughout the day, and that is able to support any vegetable seller or anyone that's dealing in vegetables. As an organization, and as we mark 35 years in Uganda, we are delighted to see young Ugandans shifting their mindset, but also coming up with innovations like the ones that we are seeing.
The anti-corruption crackdown, spearheaded by local government minister Balam Bargahara Atenyi, has left sections of Namisindwa district and local government struggling to function, with several senior officials abandoning the offices as investigations gather pace. District leaders say while the operation has restored accountability, it has also brought another problem, and that is disruption of service delivery.
The anti-corruption campaign sweeping through Namisindwa district is beginning to reshape the operations of the local government. Days after local government minister Balam Bargahara conducted an accountability inspection, the Ministry of Local Government ordered the interdiction of 6 senior district officials to pave way for investigations into allegations of abuse of office, gross negligence, mismanagement of public resources and possible financial impropriety. Those interdicted include the senior agricultural officer, senior inspector of schools, 2 senior assistant town clerks, the civil engineer and the assistant engineering officer. District Chairperson Emma Bwayo says several officers have deserted their duty stations, leaving some departments struggling to operate.
Including some staff who have not been mentioned, but they know they do wrong things. Including actually Sabu counties, people are not working. Everybody is simply scared, which is one way that is good. Rode Balama has sent waves of fear, including to us politicians.
Bwayo further revealed that anti-corruption team remains on ground to investigate all complaints raised during the minister's visit. Despite the disruption, Bwayo says the crackdown has sent a strong message that misuse of public resources will no longer be tolerated.
And now engineers will fear inflating figures for the bridge for them to get money, will fear planning for a road that they will not implement.
The district chairperson says the operation has had unintended consequences in the education sector. He says several schools remain destabilized after head teachers and deputies were arrested during inspections, leaving institutions without experienced administrators. Buayo is now appealing to the minister to review the enforcement approach in schools, arguing that disciplinary action should preserve the dignity of teachers while holding them accountable.
Close to 5 schools, Poto Primary, where the teacher and the deputy were arrested in front of pupils. They actually shouted as they were taking them. Now imagine such a teacher, will he or she go back in the same school? Namisindo SS, where the teacher ran. Now the deputy who was got at the station was arrested. He spent inside a full week. Now the school was left in the hands of a DOS.
Even so, district leaders insist the anti-corruption campaign has exposed the long-standing weaknesses in governance and remains necessary to restore accountability and improve service delivery.
And on the African scene, Ghana says it has begun repatriating another 1,000 nationals from South Africa due to ongoing anti-migrant settlement in the country. Accra authorities say the special flights bringing the migrant workers back will arrive on Monday night as the final phase of the evacuation of nationals does happen. These and more in our Africa Wrap.
Ghana has already returned more than 900 nationals and says it will demand compensation from the South African government for their lost property and assets. It has also petitioned the International Criminal Court to open an investigation into attacks against foreigners, which they said could constitute crimes against humanity. Elsewhere, 2 military sources reported that the Sudanese army regained control of a crucial highway linking the country's capital to the city of El Obeid. This comes after the army's rival paramilitary Rapid Support Forces had been amassing troops around El Obeid for months. The RSF have now been pushed west off the highway. El Obeid is located at an important crossroads. In the Democratic Republic of Congo, official figures released on Saturday show that the number of confirmed Ebola cases has surpassed 3,000. It said this includes 1,354 deaths and 556 recoveries, while 755 patients remain in hospital or in isolation. This updated figure comes just 3 days after officials reported more than 1,000 deaths from the outbreak, which has now spread to 5 provinces. In Togo, protesters are calling for a return to the country's previous constitution. Saturday's rally in Vaughan opened with a traditional libation ceremony before opposition leaders joined supporters in singing Togo's national anthem. Banners and placards opposing the constitutional reform were displayed at the gathering, where organizers held a public rally attended by several hundred supporters. Changes adopted in 2024 establish a parliamentary system, handing executive power to the President of the Council of Ministers, a post now held by former President Faure Gnassingbé. The East African Community EAC Monetary Affairs Committee has reaffirmed its commitment to introducing a single East African currency by 2031, pledging to deepen regional financial integration.
For more information, please contact us on 0760-663-061 or email reservations@mbzgroup.africa.
The
same great cube that makes your beans tasty, now in a new pack. Get the Royco Cube Co-String at a duka or supermarket near you. Just pull, tear and crumble for the tastiest beans.
Before the headlines, there's the quiet work of confidence. The faces you trust are styled by the hands we trust. Because beauty isn't just seen, it's felt. Alaya Hair and Beauty, the choice behind the spotlight. Redefining beauty, one face at a time.
And congratulations again and again and again. You have not seen yet. There is the detail of this place. Yes. So we want to make sure that you have a good view of the swimming pool. Now this is for your parents. Close parents, real parents, uncle, auntie, 1, 2. This one we specifically set for relatives that speak a lot. And this one is for Richard.
I'm no longer with Richard. I'm with Augustine now.
No, still Augustine will sit there. They will collaborate because one needs the other.
Hey travelers! Are you a family gearing up for that big vacation, a hustler working abroad coming home, or your squad chasing sunsets and passport stamps? It's time you lock in. Say goodbye to long airport queues, shocking roaming bills, and the stress of hunting for local SIM cards, because now you can travel like a local. Stay connected in over 180 countries. Just scan, tap, and boom! Instant data the moment you reach your destination. Get your Rogue Travel eSIM today at travel.roguetelcom.co.ug. Contact us on 020-5000123.
And that's it for today. Till the next episode.
Like a daily bando, like a daily bando, like a daily bando. Omuliro nguwulira muli mu mutima kukankana like drums. Kalakata, kalakata, endungu ya kusabula. We gonna do free on fire, free on fire, free on fire.
With Kanzali plus Mchuzi, you get the perfect pot of flavor and taste with the superior ingredients of the new Royco 2-in-1 mix. Enjoy the Kathufu mix.
Business Pulse, brought to you by
The East African Business Council reports that intra-East African community trade expanded by 28% to approximately United States $19 billion last year, underscoring growing regional commerce. However, trade among partner states still accounts for only 12.3% to 12.5% of the bloc's total trade, well below the East Africa community's long-term target of 40%. The gap has prompted the East African Business Council to renew calls for faster implementation of regional trade reforms, warning that persistent non-tariff barriers continue to constrain the full potential of the common market.
Speaking during a regional business dialogue, private sector leaders acknowledged progress in harmonizing fiscal policies, improving digital trade systems, and reducing non-tariff barriers across the bloc.
We don't need no more protocols. We have enough protocols. What we need is implementation. We need harmonization of taxes, levies. We need harmonization of standards. We need the implementation of agreed common external tariff. This will go a long way in opening up markets as envisaged in the negotiations.
They, however, note that businesses continue to grapple with regulatory bottlenecks, inconsistent custom procedures, and administrative barriers that hinder free movement of goods, services, and investment across the East African partner states.
Barriers, if you compare between what was reported in 2025 and 2024, there were about 61 reported barriers. We have about 27 last year. That's a significant reduction of the barriers that are being reported. We can build on those successes.
The East African Business Council says Uganda's emerging oil and gas industry, together with Kenya's expanding industrial base and infrastructure investments, present a unique opportunity to strengthen regional value chains, increase local manufacturing, and deepen cross-border trade.
We are far from the target and ambitions that EAC have set themselves. There are these regulatory, legal bottlenecks that need to be addressed as committed by the EAC partner state.
Also wants regional governments to scale up support for small and medium-sized enterprises, noting that SMEs account for more than 80% of employment across the region and remain central to economic growth and job creation.
And when we make dedicated and deliberate effort to promote youth and support women in trade and promote SMEs, we will not achieve the ambitions of EAC.
East African Business Council reaffirmed its commitment to documenting and resolving private sector concerns through sustained engagement with governments, saying stronger public-private collaboration will be key to unlocking the region's trade potential and raising intra-East African trade to the bloc's 40% target.
There's need for a sharper advocacy role of EABC. There's need of EABC to carrying the private sector pain a bit more strongly than we've done before.
Technology experts have called on the government to reduce internet-related taxes and lower the cost of connectivity, saying expensive internet remains one of the biggest barriers to digital inclusion in Uganda. Speaking during the opening of the Uganda Internet Governance Week, organized by the Internet Society Uganda chapter, the network's convener, Lilian Nalwoga, said internet access remains unaffordable for many Ugandans despite growing connectivity across the country. Nalwoga proposed reducing taxes on smartphones and lowering excise duties imposed on telecommunication companies, saying this would help make internet services more affordable for ordinary Ugandans.
Accessibility in terms of how many people are accessing the internet, but also we have an access issue that is related to the cost of the internet. Whereas we are seeing numbers that people are connecting online, you read numbers close maybe to, I don't know, the figure could be maybe 20 or 30. I don't know the current connection figures, but that is still low for a population that is hitting close to maybe 50 million. So we do have that as a challenge. Internet cost is still high for the average Ugandan. The purpose of the school is to improve people's understanding, participants' understanding in digital governance, internet governance or policy. In terms of what can someone who is looking at income generation or, creating themselves like being comfortable. So many of the participants here are either we have students who, for instance, today we are focusing on AI. So as a student, they should be able to understand for instance, how can I use ChatGPT in my day-to-day, work.
Talent, skilling, or literacy is what government at the moment should focus on, because once we have the product in the market, once we have the innovations, then we can work back and see what is missing in the ecosystem, and we make it a better environment for the innovators, for the talent, and for the country to benefit as a whole.
In any sport, every champion begins with a dream. In Bulambuli district, young players at St. Joseph Biaga Secondary School are proving that talent can shine even in the face of adversity.
St. Joseph Buyaga Secondary School is a government-aided institution in Bulambuli district and one of the district's strongest sports schools, proudly representing Bulambuli at both regional and national competitions. But behind the success lies a difficult reality. Despite nurturing talented footballers with ambitions of lifting the Uganda Secondary Schools Sports Association National Boys Football Championship trophy, the school continues to struggle with limited funding and inadequate sports equipment, which has slowed the growth of promising young talents.
What is lacking now is that we lack the capacity to train these players. Some of us, we don't have the playing boots, but we try to improvise.
School head coach Alex Wakarere says that the shortage of modern training equipment has affected preparations, which has limited opportunities for athletes to reach their full potential.
We don't have enough training kits. Even the boys themselves also, we actually just encourage them that all will be okay. We don't have balls, we don't have even attires are not there. Training cones, we just gamble around, and we can even just collect bottles around and do training.
With fresh leadership taking shape in the area, newly elected Bulambuli constituency member of parliament Emmanuel Wepukulu Biara pledges to make sports development a priority through supporting initiatives that will nurture and empower young talent across the district.
Where I come from, there is a gift, a talent of footballers and other sports people. Of course, even including athleticism. But what we are putting emphasis so much now is the footballing aspect.
Amidst the challenges, team captain Cyrus Bonya remains optimistic, encouraging peers to remain patient and determined while chasing their future careers.
It's all about hard working. They always say, no success is achieved on a silver plate.
In the 2026-2027 national budget, the government allocated 459.2 billion shillings to the National Council of Sports under the Ministry of Education and Sports budget. Government, through the same ministry, also allocated 77.9 billion shillings to the Physical Education Department, which is charged with development of school and community sports. However, one wonders where these billions go.
So there's an area which I've picked up is now the question of pace, where I want to begin putting up my focus. Because I think my focus has been AFCON, while others are also swinging me on the side.
The State Minister for Sports, Honorable Peter Ogwang, says that he is opening an inquiry of where this money is channeled to ensure proper use and accountability.
We have the Department of Physical Education and Sports, which directly handles activities of primary, secondary, tertiary, university. And also it houses component of NAMBOLE budget. I want to confirm we have an investment in that area of 77.98 billion. I need value for money. I need accountability of this money. If you fall a victim in part of my work, I have no regrets for you.
St. Joseph Buyaga has won several regional titles and finished 28th at the 2026 USSA National Boys Football Championship in Lira. With support, the school harbors a dream of transforming raw talent into national champions.
And that's all we had for you here on NBS Live at 9 Monday Special.
It's definitely quite special, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Samson and I will be going to vote tomorrow. Or are you?
Dual citizens.
You'll be lining up. The dual citizens. The dual citizens will not be making it to the queues tomorrow, but that's all right. Just show up at your LC1 and get to vote, and also let us know your experience on what happens tomorrow in your specific village. All right, we call it a night.